Namaste, hello, and welcome back to another video on Hamsavahini Vajraasthra. I'm Awhona, and this video is going to be a bit different because it's going to be a voiceover video. I do have some renovation work going on at my house, and I could not find the time to film a video. So this is going to be a voiceover video, as you could have guessed, and it's going to be an update about all that I've been reading for Febregency Readathon, as well as my reading projects, which I did mention in my previous videos, as well as what I have been looking into. So do please join me further in this video. So the first book that I would like to talk about is Oliver Goldsmith's play, which is called She Stoops to Conquer. Now, I'm reading this for the Febregency Readathon, and it's a brilliantly hilarious play. I absolutely loved it, and I'm still reading it. I just have the last part of it left, and it's absolutely funny to see how during the Regency era there were still problems and there were blind dates, and how people managed it, and how they had to be very intelligent and cunning to ensure that they could get what they want, despite the fact that there were lots of tricks and delusions which were being played around. So it's a parallel situation which is taking place all within the play, and I am absolutely enjoying it. So I'll be talking more about this book once I finish it with my wrap up for the Febregency Readathon. So the next book that I've been reading is called The Golden Age of the Garden, by which has been edited by Claire Starkey, and this is a brilliant book about gardening. So all those who have a green thumb, I would suggest please pick up this book, because it does give a history about the evolution of English gardening. So during the late 17th century, or till the late 17th century, we see that gardens were very structured. They were only maintained by those who had a lot of wealth, and mostly they had these specific and very, very precise geometric patterns, which were quite similar, and of course they were inspired by the geometric patterns which were seen in French gardening as well as Italian gardening. Now, as the agricultural revolution began, we do see that gardening shifted from the wealthy households to the common households, or those who did have a moderately fair income, and landscape gardening was introduced in the country houses. So the country landscape was changed, and in order to make the soil more productive, landscape gardening was a brilliant method which was applied, and there was a lot of structure and patterns which were given, and various flowers were used, and they were rotated, and there are a lot of techniques which were applied, and I am still reading it, and there are a lot of extracts of the memoirs of the late 17th and 18th century gardeners, and those who were famous for gardening, of course, and they have maintained brilliant records of their experiences working with different flowers and different patterns, and the effect of the weather on flowers which were imported from other colonies during this particular time. And it's a brilliant book, and I'm going to be talking more about this in my Febregency wrap-up. The next book on my reading project, which is also part of the Febregency Readathon, is Evelina by Frances Burney. Now, unfortunately, I have not been really able to keep up with the group read, and I am still quite behind. In fact, I have not even finished the first volume of letters, but I plan to catch up soon. The first discussion, in fact, the discussion or the group discussion for Evelina is on the 25th of February, so I don't think I'll be able to finish it by then, and I really don't want any spoilers, so I probably will be able to complete this by the end of the first week of March, which is when I'll be posting my thoughts on Evelina in my Febregency wrap-up. So I'm looking forward to completing this and catching up with everybody. So the next book that I've been reading is called Jane Austen and the Buddha, Teachers of Enlightenment by Kathryn Duncan. Now this is for one of my reading projects, and I must say that this is a very interesting book for those who wanted to understand the spiritual aspect of Jane Austen's works. There is another book by Paula Hollingsworth, which I've read before, which is called The Spirituality of Jane Austen, which does focus mainly on Jane Austen's personal spirituality and how it reflects in her work. Now, this is a different perspective altogether. It explores the works of Jane Austen through the eyes of the Buddha, and the main core concept of exploring this is the concept of suffering and how it elevates through enlightenment in the lives of various characters. So in every Jane Austen novel, we do see some kind of suffering amongst the characters, or suffering going on in the subplots, etc. So the main core concept of this book is to view those suffering from the eyes of the Buddha, through the eyes of the Buddha, and also to understand how that makes the character grow and how it teaches wisdom. And there's a lot more which goes on within the subplots of Jane Austen, which we have never explored before. So it's a brilliantly written book, and I plan on doing a book review, so that would probably be out or will be posted on my channel by the end of March or maybe mid-March. So looking forward to finishing this book and sharing all that I have read and also my thoughts on it in a book review. Now the next book that I've been reading is called A Slip of a Girl by Patricia Reilly Giff, which I had selected for the Irishreadathon. So this was in my pile of possibility stack, and I will still include it in this particular readathon, although I finished it. I was actually flicking through this book as the book arrived by post the other day, and I found it very interesting, and I finished it within one sitting, surprisingly. And it's a middle grade book, of course, and it's written very simply, but it describes the struggle which the Irish people had against the English rent collectors, and the plight of a girl who had to support her younger sibling, or the only sibling who was with her, despite the fact that she lost her mother at a very young age. She had to be a pillar of hope for her father, and when hope arrives from a very distant relative and aunt, and how that nurtures her, makes her stronger, and manages her to keep her going, and how she stays or stands up within her community to and along with her community against the English rent collectors until they come to an agreement. So this is a brilliantly written book, and of course it's a 2-time Newbery Honor winner, which means that it is a middle grade. So I will be including this in my middle grade March readathon as well, although I finished it early, but I have no issues in rereading it again in the month of March. So I'll be including this in 2 of my readathons, the Irishreadathon as well as the middle grade March readathon, whose TBR I'm yet to post. So that's one of the books that I did complete in one sitting. So those are the few books that I've been reading so far, and yes, I'm not very happy with the pace that I'm going at, because I was supposed to have completed a lot of books, but that never really happened, and I'm quite busy with my renovation work, which I have to look into as well. So I hope that I'll be able to complete as much as I can by the end of February, so that I can create my wrap-ups on time, because I still have my January wrap-up to do. So I'll be posting more about this later on, but for this week, that's all I do have. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and do let me know your thoughts upon these books in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. And with that, I'll be wrapping up this video. I'll see you soon next week again with another video. So till then, take care, have a good reading week ahead, and namaste.